show you how you can boot into VirtualBox via that USB, bootable USB. And in the third video, I'll show you. So, in the previous video, we saw how we can make a bootable pen drive of Lakka, and I must apologize for the slight sync issue I had in the previous video, and I hope you'll never experience that in the video near future. Today, we are gonna see how we can boot into VirtualBox using the USB we created earlier, and for that we are gonna make a virtual hard drive file that is gonna point toward the USB and tell virtual machine that everything present in that USB is all what I have, and that virtual machine is gonna access every file present on the USB, thinking that this is what virtual hard drive has. For that, you first need to know what your USB has the number assigned to it as a disk number. For that, go to my computer, right click on it and open manage. This is bring up a window with some features, one of them being disk management. Open that. Here you'll be able to see all these local disk, the partitions of the hard drive and the partitions of the USB drive. Like I said, that the software that is gonna be used to make the USB bootable is gonna repartition it, and here's what it has done to our USB. It has made 3 partitions, and one of them is totally left unallocated. I'm gonna show you the how you can repartition it in the third video, which is gonna be the final video as well. Go and look what drive number your USB drive has, and in this case it is 1. In my case it is 1. So I'm gonna remember the USB drive has the disk number of 1, and you're not gonna mistype it, because you're gonna get into a whole lot of trouble if you mistype it. Keep that in mind. Go ahead and type cmd, run it as administrator. What this will do is that this will open up the software with all that administrative rights needed to run certain commands, and we are gonna use cmd. Just like Linux, you can do any sort of work using either the UI of the operating system or by the terminal commands, and we are gonna do somewhat similar to that. We are gonna access the commands of the software, which is the built-in functionality of the VirtualBox. Now, first thing, locate the folder where your VirtualBox is installed on, and go and cd into that directory. In my case, that is program files slash Oracle and virtual box, and it is gonna be the same for most of the people, because this is the default directory of the VirtualBox. Hit enter, and it somehow, oh, I missed the S. Here is the S. Now it took us into the VirtualBox directory, and where the command functionality is located in. Now we're gonna go and type vbox manage. It is the command we are gonna use, and then go type internal commands, and then type create raw vmdk. Now what this is gonna do is this is gonna create a raw virtual machine disk, that is the hard disk file the virtual machine is gonna use. And for that, now you're gonna type the file name followed by a dash, and then give a space and provide the directory where you want the file to be created, and provide the name you want the file to be named as. For I'm gonna create the file in the local disk C with the name of USB. You can change both of them. You can change the name and the directory as well, as per your liking, but I'm gonna make the file into the local disk C dot vmtk. Now give a space and then again dash followed by space, and now after the dash type raw disk. Now two slashes dot and another slash, type physical drive, and then the number your USB has been assigned, which in my case was 1 if you remember, and then hit enter. This created the file we needed into the C with the name of USB. Now I must tell you something. Before you use this functionality or go and start working in CMD, you must have all those VirtualBox windows closed. If those would be open, this is never gonna work and it is always gonna give you an error. Now close this out, go ahead and open the VirtualBox with administrative rights as well, because we are about to access that file we just created, and to access that we need administrative rights. You're gonna do this every time you're gonna access that file, unless you don't need that anymore and you just want it to delete that or whatever you have done with that file, and you don't need any usb.vdmk file anymore, whatever. Now go to new and create a new virtual machine. I'm gonna name it lakka. Now lakka is a small Linux distribution, so go and select Linux in the operating system type, and then in the version we are gonna go and choose other Linux with the architecture you have. I have 32-bit architecture. Then go ahead and assign it RAM you want it to have, and then don't create the new virtual drive. Go ahead and use existing drive and select the drive we just created or the file we just created. Open that up and hit create. Okay, now I already had that. I must change the name, I guess. I'm gonna add another A. Doesn't matter, you're not gonna get this error. I already had the machine named lakka, that is why I got an error. Go and hit create. This is gonna create a virtual machine named lakka, which is a Linux distribution. Now go into the settings and go to the storage section. Now what we are gonna do is we are gonna give it another hard drive, because after we install lakka onto the virtual machine, we don't need usb.vmdk file anymore. We just need this for the for only one time, or unless you are running it live, you will need it every time you run virtual machine. If you are running lakka live and you are not going to install that, now hit create new hard drive. I used to make virtual disk image with this extension .vdi. I mean, I am used to select this type of the file, give it the space you want it to have. I'm gonna give it 2 GBs, hit create, and hit OK. Now we are almost done with it. Now we are gonna go and hit start, and this is gonna start our virtual machine. It is gonna boot from the USB, and as you can see, we are into the lakka, or I should say the lakka OSHA. I am extremely sorry, I have to turn this off. And run again. Now or you have seen that Lakka is now running into the VirtualBox. Now, I must mention, I have not seen anyone do this on the internet. Though internet is very big, and this is sort of uncanny that even though Lakka is so popular and there are too many people searching about this and requesting developers to support the virtualization of the software, but no one yet figured out how they can do this. This is very simple. You can see that we just created a bootable USB drive and boot into the VirtualBox using that USB drive. Now go ahead and run installer. You can also run live, but I want it to be installed on the VirtualBox so that I might not need USB anymore. Now I must mention this again that you might have different uh, hardware and your hardware might not be supported by the Lakka, and so you must not make me responsible, or if your Lakka doesn't work, or if you are unable to boot into Lakka, you might be hung onto that splash screen of the Lakka and whatnot. You can mess on any step of this process because of the unsupported hardware. So don't blame me. Just wait for a couple of months. Your hardware might be supported in the future, and along with the virtualization of the operating system as well, and that you don't have to follow all these steps anymore. But I think there's a long time before you have to wait a long time before it gets done. Now we are gonna go and quick install Lakka. Yes, you're gonna select this. This is what we created. We created a 2 GB hard drive, an additional 2 GB hard drive, and we are gonna select this hard drive and hit OK. Enable as yes. We're gonna hit yes. We're gonna go and hit yes. We're gonna go again and hit yes, and this is gonna install the VirtualBox, the Lakka onto the VirtualBox. Wait for a second, it is not gonna take long. There you go. We are now done. Now go and reboot the virtual machine, and we will be. I'm not gonna show you the Lakka running into the VirtualBox and all those things. That is another video. That is a topic related to another video. I might do that in the future, but not now. I'm gonna keep this video as brief as I can. Now we are gonna go into the storage section again and remove the usb.vmdk file we created. We're gonna do this by selecting the usb.vmdk and hit this button. This is remove. Yeah, this removed the usb.vmdk virtual drive because we didn't need that anymore, and we are pretty much done with it. I'm just gonna show it loading only one time. I'm gonna go and start the Lakka virtual machine, and here you go, people. Lakka running onto the VirtualBox exclusively. So goodbye now. Once again, your hardware might not be supported, and your booting process might be stuck onto this splash screen because of the unsupported hardware. So don't blame me. Thank you for watching the video. Hit subscribe and goodbye.